Hi friends, I wanted to demystify just a little bit some of the numbers and the information that you can find on your watercolor tubes. I get asked this a lot. And by the way, I will link Lindsay, she's the FrugalCrafter. She talks a lot. If you want to really learn about light fastness and pigments and all of that, she has an excellent channel and she goes into a lot of detail about them. So just a couple key points I wanted to share with you in case you've been curious is just a little bit of how to read the labels and why it might matter, and just kind of understanding what you're looking for so that you can be a little bit more intentional and be able to maybe control some of the results that you're getting. So let's go ahead. Obviously, the first thing, sounds obvious, is just the name of the color. So here it's, this is a Daniel Smith, by the way, Red Fuchsite Genuine. How's that? So the colors are more than just blue or red. You want to look for these special names because they're going to be tied to specific pigments and just unique properties about those. Different brands might name their colors differently. And that's why it's important to look at the pigment information. And that's what I'm going to tell you now. So a typical code, although let's see, what is the code on this one? I need my glasses. 1 second. The other place, by the way, while I'm looking for this, that you can find information is when you're given a little swatch sheet. This will typically have pigment numbers, light fastness, all of that information. So keep those, take a look at those. And then depending on the brand, this one actually does not list the pigment number, but what you will typically see is like PB29 would be pigment blue 29, or PY3 pigment yellow 3, and those numbers are the exact pigment used in it. And it's also important so that you don't have duplicates on your palette. Two paints with the same pigment number will behave similarly. Fun fact, single pigments where they just have one pigment listed are a lot easier to mix and creates a lot cleaner colors. The next thing is the light fastness. So on this particular one, it says series 3. They're going to use either series or ASTM. Now, ASTM of 1 or 2 is excellent light fastness. And series 1, interesting, is going to also be made with the higher quality pigments. So the higher the number goes off, the more affordable they are, and probably the more inexpensive pigments are using, which means it could fade easier. Another little bit of information here is, so this particular one, like I said, is series 3. It will, a lot of times these pigments will, let me see if I have another one here, give you the, if it's transparent or opaque, so it'll be T for transparent, perfect for layering and glazing because it's going to be very luminous. Semi-transparent or semi-opaque is good for a little bit heavier coverage. And then of course opaque, which would be like your gouaches, are gonna pretty much cover completely. So check that out. So when you're mixing them with your colors, you know a little bit how it might look, and you can plan your layers. Another thing is, let's see, what else could, manufacturer number, of course. Extras you might see, they might list staining or non-staining. Does the pigment sink into the paper or does it lift up easily? I find that the pinks and blues tend to are a little bit more staining. And then it might also give you information like granulation. And granulation is really great because, and some of those colors are ultramarine blue. You probably see a lot, the little granulation in them. And those are great. So if you are a landscape painter, you might really want granulation because it creates some depth, some texture, and like I said, especially in landscapes. Let's see, what else? Light fastness, we went over that. Fugitive, by the way, I've had a couple of you ask me about that. Fugitive just means if it's a fugitive color, that means it's going to fade quickly. And you're going to want to make sure you hang it in, under like a UV protected glass or something like that. Now, I swatch out all of my pigments in my palettes I use this little color diary. It's been invaluable. And I put all of my colors on here, and you can, create whatever kind of little swatch palette. Maybe you want to do one in mixing colors together, but this is what I do for every paint palette I get. So I can kind of understand how my paints are going to affect my painting and which ones I can layer easily, which ones are going to be more opaque and cover. I hope this was helpful for you. Again, check out Lindsay Rich if you really want to get a little deeper into this subject, because she does a really great job of explaining it and comparing colors and things like that. All right, everybody, I hope this was helpful and answered some questions for you, and happy painting.